Just want everybody to know there are a few seats up front. If you have an open seat next to you, if you could raise your hand. Okay, plenty of seats.
Welcome. I am Jim Redifer. I'm a member of the board of the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota, and I am a 24-year member of UUSRQ. We especially want to welcome our visitors both on campus and over live stream. We invite our visitors to participate in any of our events. We welcome visitors to find out more about us and Unitarian Universalism by registering on our virtual guest book, which you can find via a link on the homepage of our website at UUSRQ. If you are in person, there's a sign-up sheet for visitors at the welcome table in the courtyard. If you do, we will send you our weekly newsletter and Zoom links to our virtual events. We invite you to join us for a coffee and conversations after the service. We look forward to getting to know each other. New member sign-up. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Unitarian Universalist of Sarasota, please meet in Reverend Jay's office in the Lexau wing across from the sanctuary 15 minutes after the service. Don't forget the community discussions on mass deportation and immigration. That's this Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. right here in the sanctuary. Thank you.
That we
Thank you. I felt like I'm ready to return to the home of my soul. So our opening reading today is from George Washington, President George Washington's farewell address. You should properly estimate the immense value of your national union to your collective and individual happiness, that you should cherish a cordial, habitual, and immovable attachment to it, according yourselves to think and speak of it as of the palladium of your political safety and prosperity, watching it for the preservation with jealous anxiety. It worked great in preview. Discountenancing whatever may suggest even a suspicion that it can in any event be abandoned, and indignantly frowning upon the first dawning of every attempt to alienate any portion of our country from the rest, or to enfeeble the sacred ties which now link together the various parts. Now, please join me as we light the chalice. Join me in affirming our value of justice, which is printed in your order of service and will be on the screen above you. Justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large.
Just want to make sure this is on. It is. Yay! So, today's story is The Juicebox Bully by Bob Sorensen, Maria Dismondi, and illustrated by Kim Shaw. As Pete stood in front of his new class, Mr. Peltzer announced, "Let's welcome Pete to our team. Pete, you'll be sitting behind Ralph." Settling into his seat, Pete pulled his hat down over his head so that only his eyes would be seen. Turning around, Ralph whispered, "They don't allow hats in class here." "You're not my mother," snarled Pete. After giving an assignment, Mr. Peltzer walked around the class and gently asked Pete to remove his hat. And once he walked away, Pete poked Ralph. "Thanks a lot," he growled. Later that day at recess, Pete didn't ask to join the soccer game. Instead, he watched. "Hi, Pete," Ralph said. "Do you want to get into the game?" "Not with these nerds," Pete replied. "I don't like those kids." "Well, what do you want to do?" asked Ralph. Pete smiled spitefully. "Let's steal the ball. We're bigger than them. We can have our own gang." That's not how we do things around here," answered Ralph. "Then I'll do it myself," taunted Pete, "if you're so afraid." So Pete ran over to the field and yelled, "Pass it to me." And when David did, Pete grabbed the ball and ran off the field. "What's going on?" shouted David. Pete didn't answer. He just ran faster and faster and then turned around and he waved the ball in the air. At first, the kids just stood there. Then they huddled together before walking over to Pete. Ruby and Lucy led the way. "I know you're new around here, but what are you doing?" asked Ruby. "I'm playing with the soccer ball. Think you're going to take it away from me?" Ruby didn't argue, nor did she threaten Peter. Instead, she calmly said, "It's your first day here, so there's no way that you would know this, but in our class, we made a promise. We promised to take care of ourselves, each other, and the classroom, and to solve problems peacefully, that no one would stand by and accept bad behavior. When someone acts hurtful, we speak up. We want you to be a member of the class and to make the same promise." "Ugh," Dumb rules, dumb promises, Peter said as he walked away. The next day, Pete ate alone, and when he finished with lunch, the kids, of course, raced out, and Pete trailed behind. Ruby ran up to Pete and asked, "Do you want to play soccer today?" "I don't play with nerds." "Okie dokie," Ruby replied. "Hey, Ruby," Pete called. Ruby stopped and turned. "Nice shirt." And then Pete squirted his juice box right at her. "Oh, you are so mean," she shrieked at him. "I'll tell everybody how mean you are, and you won't have any friends here." By now, David and Ralph and some others had come up to them. "Ruby, I won't let you do that," Ralph said clearly. "Remember our promise?" "I don't want to remember the promise. Look at what he did. We'll ignore him forever until he leaves the school and goes back to his own school," Ruby yelled. "I know you're angry, but we're not going to do this, Ruby," said Ralph. "You can tell Mr. Peltzer if you want, but we're not going to let you treat Pete like this, and we won't put up with his bad behavior either." Ruby stomped away, leaving Pete and Ralph behind. "No one's ever done that before. Why did you stand up for me?" Pete said. "Because I've been in your shoes, and I've learned being a bully doesn't work." "And," Ralph said, "I don't stand by and let mean things happen. Besides, Ruby is my friend, and you shouldn't have ruined her shirt." "Won't the other kids be mad at you for sticking up for me?" Pete asked. "No, they all made the same promise. Mr. Peltzer and every kid here tries to keep that promise." "Well, at my old school, I got picked on all the time, and everybody just let it happen, so I started to tease the kids before they could be mean to me." "Here," Ralph replied, "we decided that when somebody tries to be a bully, that we speak up, or we ask help from an adult. We won't be bystanders to bad behavior." The bell rang, and it was time to go back to class. "Oh, they hate me. They'll never let me play with them now," Pete said. But before Ralph could answer, David, Lucy, and Ruby came towards them. "I'm sorry about what I said," Ruby apologized, "and that I forgot that if we stand up for each other, school is a lot more fun." "Wow, you guys are really way different than the kids at my other school," Pete said. "Maybe I'll give this promise thing a try." "Oh, that's great. Let's go talk to Mr. Peltzer," said Ruby. "Hey, Ruby." "Sorry about your shirt," Pete added. Ruby smiled. "No worries. I kind of like the new look." Everybody laughed as Pete and Ruby led the way into class. So most elementary schools have a pledge like Mr. Peltzer's class, a covenant of how we will behave with each other, support each other, and call out and stop bad behavior. Democracies have a similar pledge, but if the people and its officials do not hold each other accountable to be fair, treat each other with dignity, or behave for the good of the group, then the pledge loses its power, leaving space for bullies or authoritarians to take control through fear and violence. So may we all remember our pledge that we have to each other. I now invite any children and youth to join me and Miss Julie as we learn about Japanese Children's Day and the pledge this holiday supports. Thank you.
So our next reading is something that I wrote for an interfaith vigil that I did on the 30th, marking the 100th day of this administration. And so I'm going to invite you to share it with each refrain. After I say it, I'm going to invite you to say, we are here to support each other. So let's try that now. We are here to support each other. When immigrants, both documented and undocumented, are fearful of being abducted without due process. We are here to support each other. When protections for the environment are when healthcare protections are threatened, and millions fear losing access to doctors and medicine. We are here to support each other. When protections for the environment are rolled back, and we disregard our call to care for our common planet. We are here to support each other. When acts of hate rise across the country, and racism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and xenophobia grow louder. We are here to support each other. When LGBTQ plus rights are ignored and healthcare is denied to many beloveds in our community. We are here to support each other. When education on African American and LGBTQ plus history and current lived experiences are denied. We are here to support each other. When freedom of the press is attacked and truth is undermined. We are here to support each other. When economic policies favor the wealthy and deepen the suffering of the poor. We are here to support each other. When women's rights to control their own bodies and futures are under siege. We are here to support each other. When science is silenced and facts are pushed aside for political gain. We are here to support each other. When the spirit of compassion, justice, and democracy itself are placed in jeopardy. We are here to support each other. Wherever we may be on the journey in this life. We are here to support each other. And now, as we enter into a time of silence, I ask you to contemplate how you can support others on the journey we are all now on. So in late April, the Jewish people commemorated Yom HaShoah, which is a time to remember those who died in the Holocaust started by the German fascist Nazi Party. And there has been growing conversation about parallels between our current political climate and Nazi Germany in the early 1930s, before power was consolidated and the machinery of mass murder began. I thought, therefore, it was important for us to really look at this and to understand what fascism actually is and how it is antithetical to our values. Now, of course, authoritarian leaders have existed for time immemorial. However, as a modern political movement, fascism, as we think of it now, started after World War I, based on the Fascist Manifesto written by an Italian socialist, Alessandro d'Amburi. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly. Many of the items in the manifesto, surprisingly, include many things that we might agree with, interestingly enough. It was envisioned as a middle way between unfettered capitalism and the slow pace of change in democracies and the totalitarian communism that had risen in Russia. However, how it was put into practice was something quite different. In 1932, Mussolini, who became the fascist leader in Italy, described fascism, and I quote, as a closed universe in which the state is all-embracing and outside which no human or spiritual values can exist, end quote. Interestingly, Mussolini began as a socialist newspaper editor, but broke with the movement as he supported World War I. And though Italy was on the winning side of World War I, its economy was devastated. And because of this economic devastation, the fact that the socialists had opposed the war, socialists won the majority in parliament after the war. And the fight for workers' rights then, which the socialists proposed, created unrest. There were workers' strikes. There was talk of redistribution of the land, similar to the Russian Revolution, and that led to a stalemate in government and a faltering economy. So Mussolini created the fascist party that fed off the anger of the people towards the government's ineffectualness and fear of communism. He talked of unifying the country. And Mussolini created and encouraged gangs called black shirts that used violence against opponents to win seats in parliament. Mussolini orchestrated a march on Rome to take power, and the King of Italy was caught in a vice between the socialists on the one side and the capitalists and fascists on the other. And the king told the police to stand down, fearing that conflict with the fascists would lead to a communist takeover. Now, Mussolini took power, and then he created laws that kept him in power. He eliminated political parties. He ended freedom of the press and destroyed labor unions. He was unable to solve, though, Italy's economic problems and led Italy into one failed war after another. Nazi Germany, like Italy, began its descent into fascism after its defeat in World War I. Its economy was in shambles and was then further devastated by the worldwide depression. Again, an ineffectual government and fear of communism allowed Hitler to rise to power. And once in control, again, you can see the systemic nature. He created laws that gave him complete power. And he was very upfront, actually, from the very start about his hatred of the Jewish people. And we must remember, he did not win a majority of the election. He only had a plurality. But once he had complete power, he then started persecution. Sarah Bloomfield of the U.S. Holocaust Museum reminds us that the first people murdered were Germans with disabilities, and those complicit included doctors and judges. In fascist system, dissent is punished. And this is why people are so alarmed today by the government's compiling of lists, particularly of people with autism, was one specifically, but we know they are compiling lists, taking data out of the systems, dismantling agencies, and firing dissenters. Bloomfield goes on to tell the story of bringing in a new Washington, D.C. police chief to view the Holocaust Museum of the genocide of the Jews in World War II. And at the end of the visit, he said, and I quote, "I saw my own profession in so many of the photographs in this museum. What was my profession doing on the walls? How is it that ordinary policemen gradually over time became a part of the system?" End quote. Well, we see this in America today. ICE officers, our government's own special police force, are engaging local police to arrest both documented and undocumented individuals. Florida law prohibits sanctuary cities and pressures localities to cooperate by threatening funding. And this is coercion. Now, in 1923, before Hitler came to power, he tried a similar power grab, such as Mussolini's March to Rome. However, the army stood up to the Nazis at that point, and Hitler was arrested. Now, he realized he could more easily use political machinations to better achieve his end. And this is why we need to be ever vigilant. We must be vigilant both in holding our government accountable and in living our democratic values. Yes, there were many German police who had long held anti-Semitic views, but there were many others who were just following orders, just not wanting to make waves, just trying to protect their salary and pension, to make the rent payment, to put food on the table. But as Jesus said, what good is it if you gain the whole world and lose your soul? It is up to us as citizens, to make sure that certain Rubicons are not passed. And we cannot be silent. We must be willing to speak up and speak out and rise up, if necessary, to stop the current rise of fascism. Yes. Yes. The common theme right around how fascist governments start is with significant economic anxiety in which democracies or monarchies cannot overcome. And America, at the beginning of the 20th century, had a large communist movement in this country due to this. And there were also many fascists as well, fascist elements within this country. But we as a country found a middle way, a better way. We chose to create a safety net to reduce people's suffering. After the Great Depression during the Great Depression, due to the severity of the economic devastation, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the government instituted the New Deal that created jobs and programs that helped prevent this country from swinging too far in either of the extremes to fascism or communism. And in 2008, we had a significant financial crisis. I don't know that everybody realizes how significant that was with the market crash. And with many people I know losing their homes. And not only was no one held accountable, but many large corporations were bailed out. No individuals were bailed out. And that set the stage, I think, in my opinion, what is happening today. There's a lot of distaste for what happened then. So we've seen jobs shipped overseas and the wealth gap widening, and we need to find a better way to keep corporate interests accountable and to help those who are struggling. Like the country, we as a congregation always look to find a better middle way. As our values call us to support democracy with our voices and our actions, we sustain this community with our shared resources. So now as we take our offering, let us look at it as not just a financial gift, but as a commitment to hope, to truth, and to each other. Please be as generous as you can. For those online or those here on your cell phone, there's a link to donate in the description of the YouTube video or the QR code in the order of service. Let this sacred time begin. Our next reading is by Timothy Snyder on freedom. If we want to be free, we will have to affirm, not just deny. Sometimes we will have to destroy, but more often we will need to create. Most often we will need to adapt both the world and ourselves on the basis of what we know and what we value. We need structures, just the right ones, moral as well as political. Virtue is an inseparable part of freedom. Freedom is not an absence, but a presence, a life in which we choose multiple commitments and realize combinations of them in this world. Over time, our choices among virtues define us as a people. The space between what is and what ought to be is where we roam as a free people, extending the borderland of the unpredictable We decide which values to affirm, in what combinations, for what reasons, at what time. Then we try again. With practice, we attain our own human form of grace. So there are many signs from history that show that we are at the onset of fascism. Fascists focus on rampant nationalism, and we see this in the cutting of funds for U.S. aid. We even heard about that in the forum this morning, about how programs that help poor countries are getting and forests are getting their aid cut. And we hear about it in the America First movement, which in the 19th century was first used by nativists against Catholic immigrants. I also like to point out that America First was the motto of the Ku Klux Klan after a wave of immigration prior to and after World War I. And America First was used by Nazi sympathizers at the onset of World War II. And now it is used by the current leaders of our government. Fascists focus on demonizing others, whether it is anti-Semitism, transphobia, homophobia, Islamophobia, or xenophobia. It is always to demonize the others. And we have clearly seen this in discussion of immigrants, whether documented or undocumented. I don't think there is anyone who would disagree. If there is a violent criminal that is an undocumented immigrant, they should have the rule of law applied, the right of due process, and they should be deported. But I will tell you, and I have known many documented and undocumented immigrants in my lifetime, and I can tell you, everyone I have met is a hard-working lover of America, and let's keep yelling that out every time they try to demonize them. Fascists disparage governing institutions and the electoral process. We see this in voter suppression laws that are being enacted throughout our country, such as the SAVE Act and the attempted dismantling of government agencies such as the Department of Education. Now, I don't know about you, but I have no idea where my birth certificate is. I really don't, and that's what they are going to require for those of us to vote. It is a goal to reduce people's ability to vote, and I believe every person, every citizen should have the right to vote, and we should make it easy and accessible. Fascists attack, yeah, that's okay. As the spirit moves you. Fascists attack the independent press and the judiciary. And we have seen this as our, literally, and we live by like tweets or Truth Social tweets, whatever. The president threatening judges by name when they rule against his policies. And that just is not acceptable. And the government barred the AP News from White House press briefings because they would not acknowledge the change of name from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. That is just absurd in my mind. I have to be honest. Fascists threaten violence against those who oppose them. Now, our president has specifically threatened in writing Liz Cheney, General Mark Milley, Joe Biden, and more generally protesters and Democrats in general. Fascists exploit symbols of patriotism, such as hugging an American flag or condemning protests of kneeling at the national anthem. Now, I just want to say there can be legitimate discussions about every policy position that is out there and about many of these disagreements. I always like to point out that there was an immigration reform bill that bipartisan had been agreed upon that was killed in the run-up to the election by the Congress. So there can be legitimate progress if we allow it, but none of that is happening today. And none of these discussions is happening with the intent for dialogue to find common good. It is done specifically in an effort to turn us against each other. Sort of like that children's book, right? You're just trying to turn everybody against each other. And fascists nurture our anger and resentment to turn us against each other, whether it was in Italy with the socialists or the communists, or Nazi Germany with anybody who wasn't a white Aryan, because they want us to lose faith in the system, to lose faith in our ability to create a better system. For if we lose faith, if we believe that the system is rigged, then we will turn away when corruption happens. We will turn away when violence happens. Our government disappearing legal residents to prisons in El Salvador. We are separating legal citizen children from their parents to coerce parents to leave this country. That is just not acceptable. It's not. The government is refusing to obey Supreme Court rulings. That is not acceptable. Just this cursory overview tells me that we are well on our way to sliding into fascism. But nothing, though, is inevitable. Okay, this is why it's important that we remain unified with a strong moral religious voice, saying that such things are not moral. But we must provide hope. We must provide hope for the hopeless and those without power, and then when we can, to make that hope real. It is not easy and it is not quick. In the United States, there is always this tension, right? Tension between efficiency and freedom, and the tension between equality and freedom, right? We have a tension of the idea of individualism and also leveling the playing field so that meritocracy can actually rise, right? To come together for the common good. And to do that, we are required to share our resources. We as a country, have to ask how much is enough for any one person or corporation to have while our citizens are struggling for basic necessities in life. Timothy Snyder points out that equality and freedom are intertwined. He writes, and I quote, "Stripping equality away from freedom makes it meaningless. We can all be equally miserable, equally zombified, equally dead," end quote. But I would add that stripping equality from freedom has its consequences as well. We are not free from consequences if we hoard all our resources and not pay taxes. And trust me, you can trust me on this, as a former CPA, there's a lot of legal ways even that people are avoiding taxes, let alone illegal ways, keeping it out of the country. We are not free from consequences if we poison the waterways and pollute the air. We are not free from consequences if we harm the innocent. If we do not have money, I am not free. If I do not have money, I am not free of consequences to steal someone else's food and car, right? We have to ask, freedom for whom and freedom to do what? Right? Basic necessities should be a given in a society as rich as ours. There's no freedom for those in power to subjugate the weak. It's impossible to have total freedom and total equality. But I do believe there is a middle way, a better way. And this is why we have covenants. We choose to come together as a congregation, as a community, as a country, and we covenant with each other. This is how we express our values in our lives. Right? Some covenants are explicit and some are implicit. As a country, we have an explicit covenant, right, that we care for the elderly and not allow them to die so we can just save a little bit of money. It is why we enacted Social Security and Medicare. And we should have that same care for every child and every adult. It is why we should have Medicare and maybe even a minimum guaranteed income for all people. If we care, we have implicit covenants that we will respect those in the military who served our country and not cut staff and budget of the veteran affairs as our current government is doing. We have both explicit and implicit covenants that leaders will not put their personal interests over the interests of the country. And you can make your own discussions among yourselves about whether you think that is happening. When these covenants are broken, and they are currently being broken every single day, people have to speak up and act up and call those who have broken covenant back into covenant. especially in times of crisis. We must, though, not just be against something, we have to be for something. Right? Whether it's a congregation or a country, we have to be in it for the long haul. Unitarian Universalism allows for the free religious expression of your beliefs. We require no creed and often no dogma, but we do require participation within covenant. Your covenant to each other and to the congregation and to other UU congregations. We are here for more than just our own self-fulfillment. That is our value of justice that we talked about at the Chalice lighting, right? We work to be a diverse, multicultural, beloved community where all thrive. Let us not forget the all part of that. Let us believe in and create that better way. Because I believe in an America where all people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not just a select few. I believe in an America where differences are not feared but celebrated, where diversity is our strength, not our weakness. I believe in an America where our future is not dictated by fear, but shaped by our values of compassion, courage, collaboration, and community. I believe in you. I believe in us. I believe in the ideals of a democratic America. Just don't give up. Don't give up. We all need each other, all of us. May it be so. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You. I couldn't do it without you. Stay standing because we're going to sing our next hymn, Come and Go With Me. You don't have hymnals, it'll be on the screen. Thank the choir for keeping me on 2 and 4 there. The closing words from Democracy in Retrograde. The solution to our problem is all of us, each stepping up in our own unique ways. You don't need to do everything, but we all need everyone to do something. May it be so. Please join me in extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish the flame, the truth, the warmth of community, of the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all for your presence here today. Go forth, do good, live freedom.